Summer trips promise fun, sun, and escape from routine. But sometimes, paradise turns into a nightmare. These are 3 terrifying true stories of vacations that went horribly wrong, reminding us that not every getaway ends in smiles and souvenirs. Vanished in Aruba, the mystery of Natalie Holloway. It was May 2005, and Natalie Holloway had just graduated high school in Mountain Brook, Alabama. To celebrate the milestone, she and over 120 of her classmates traveled to Aruba, the picturesque Caribbean island known for its turquoise waters and vibrant nightlife. The trip was a tradition for seniors, a chance to unwind before college, full of beach parties, cocktails, and club hopping. But Natalie never made it back home. On the night of May 30th, Natalie and her friends went to a popular bar and nightclub called Carlos and Charlie's. That's where she met a charming local minus 17-year-old Joran van der Sloot. He was Dutch, well-spoken, and charismatic. When the bar closed around 1:30 a.m., Natalie was seen getting into a car with Joran and 2 of his friends. That was the last time anyone saw her. When Natalie didn't show up for her return flight the next morning, her friends alerted hotel staff, who in turn called local police. Her packed luggage was still in her hotel room. Her passport and money are untouched. Panic set in immediately. Natalie wasn't the kind of girl to disappear. What followed was one of the most high-profile missing person cases in modern history. The Aruban police interrogated Joran and his 2 friends multiple times, and their stories kept changing. First, they said they dropped her off at her hotel. Then they said they left her on a beach. Eventually, they admitted they'd lied, but no charges were filed due to lack of evidence. The case became a media firestorm. Natalie's parents flew to Aruba and pleaded for justice. FBI agents arrived. Search teams combed the island. Divers explored the ocean floor, but no trace of Natalie was ever found. Over the years, Joran van der Sloot remained a person of interest. In 2010, he was arrested in Peru for the brutal murder of another young woman, Stephanie Flores, and later sentenced to 28 years in prison. The eerie parallels between the 2 cases made it clear Natalie's disappearance likely wasn't an accident. In 2023, after nearly 2 decades, Joran finally confessed to killing Natalie during a fit of rage after she rejected his advances. But because the statute of limitations in Aruba had expired, he could not be prosecuted for her death. What started as a sun-soaked celebration ended in tragedy, mystery, and heartbreak. Natalie's story is a painful reminder that even the most beautiful places can hide dangerous people, and that trusting the wrong person, even for just one night, can have fatal consequences. Trapped beneath the earth, the Thai Cave Rescue. In June 2018, a youth soccer team in Thailand decided to go on an adventure. The Wild Boars, made up of 12 boys aged 11 to 16, along with their 25-year-old coach, planned a hike into the Tham Luang cave system in the Chiang Rai province. It was supposed to be a quick, thrilling excursion, just an hour or 2 inside the cave before heading home. But then the rain started. Torrential monsoon rains poured down faster than anyone expected, flooding the narrow cave tunnels and trapping the team more than 2 miles inside. They had no food, no clean water, no communication with the outside world, and no one knew where they were. When the boys didn't return home that night, parents began to worry. Police were called. Rescue workers arrived. Their bikes were found near the cave entrance, confirming they had gone inside, but heavy flooding made it impossible to enter. Days passed, hopes faded. Experts from around the world began arriving. Divers, engineers, doctors, and even Elon Musk. It became a global effort. On July 2nd, after 9 excruciating days, 2 British divers found the team. Miraculously, all 13 were alive. Thin, weak, scared, but alive. They had survived in total darkness by drinking condensation from the walls and huddling together for warmth. But the rescue was far from over. Getting them out required one of the most complex and dangerous diving operations in history. Each boy had to be sedated and escorted out by elite divers through miles of tight, water-filled passages. Visibility was near zero. Oxygen levels were dropping, and time was running out. It took 3 days to bring them all out safely. 1 Thai Navy SEAL died during the operation, and another later died from a blood infection caused by the cave's conditions. The world watched in awe. It was a miracle and a warning. This was a summer trip that should have been innocent fun. But nature doesn't care about your plans. The caves that seemed mysterious and thrilling quickly turned into a death trap. And had it not been for global coordination and sheer willpower, those boys might still be down there. The Backpackers' Horror. The murder of Mia Aleph Chung. In August 2016, 21-year-old Mia Aleph Chung from the UK had everything going for her. Adventurous and free-spirited, she decided to take a year off from school and backpack through Australia, working, exploring, and living the traveler's dream. She eventually landed a job at a remote hostel in Home Hill, Queensland, where many backpackers stayed while working on local farms to extend their visas. But that dream quickly spiraled into horror. One night, without warning, a fellow hostel guest named Smail Ayad, also a backpacker, suddenly snapped. Witnesses say he began shouting religious phrases in Arabic, including Allahu Akbar, and stormed into Mia's shared room. Armed with a knife, he stabbed her repeatedly in a frenzy, while others tried to stop him. Another British backpacker, Tom Jackson, courageously rushed in to save Mia. He was also stabbed multiple times and later died from his injuries. Ayad was subdued by police after a violent struggle, during which he continued to shout and thrash. At first, authorities suspected terrorism, but later concluded that Ayad was suffering from an acute psychotic episode. He had no history of mental illness in his home country, but something had unraveled inside him during his time in isolation, far from family, in a high-stress environment. The incident was beyond senseless. Mia had no connection to her killer. She wasn't involved in any confrontation. She was in the wrong place, at the wrong time, in a space she thought was safe. The attack sent shockwaves through the international backpacking community. Hostels, often seen as communal and fun, suddenly didn't feel so safe anymore. Mia's family was devastated, but they launched a campaign in her name to promote mental health awareness and traveler safety abroad. What makes this story so chilling is the randomness. Mia had planned every leg of her journey. She wasn't careless, she was careful. But no amount of caution could have predicted the violent breakdown of a stranger sharing the same roof. Summer vacations are supposed to be a break from reality, a chance to disconnect, explore, and find joy. But for the people in these stories, summer turned deadly. Their getaways became headlines. Their destinations became scenes of horror, and their lives were either cut short or forever changed. Natalie Holloway's disappearance in Aruba serves as a haunting lesson in trust. One night, one decision, and one charming stranger led to an international mystery that remained unsolved for nearly 2 decades. The Thai cave rescue showed us the brutal power of nature, and how quickly a simple day trip can spiral into a survival ordeal. And Mia Aleph Chung's murder revealed that sometimes the threat comes not from the outside world, but from the very people we're living beside. Each of these stories began with excitement, smiles, plans, but they ended in fear, violence, and heartbreak. So, as summer approaches and you start thinking about your next trip, remember this: do your research, stay cautious, and trust your instincts. Because while most vacations are safe and uneventful, it only takes one wrong turn, one bad decision, or one dangerous person to change everything. And sometimes, paradise has a dark side.